So let's start with the ideal Tuesday. There's a nice quote from Tim Urban, which is that your life is made up of a series of ordinary Tuesdays. Figure out what your ideal Tuesday looks like, because if you can have an amazing Tuesday, you'll probably have an amazing life. And that is where we come to the ideal Tuesday prompt. So here's how it goes. What would your most happy, productive, and balanced Tuesday look like? What would your schedule look like on that day? Please write out your timetable for this ideal Tuesday. Imagine there aren't any interruptions and the day goes exactly as planned. So I'm going to show you what the prompt is, and then I'm going to show you mine, and then we're going to give you 3 minutes or so to do this yourself. So what time do you wake up? What does your morning routine look like? What sort of work are you doing in the morning? When are you taking lunch? What recharge breaks are you building into your day? When are you finished with work for the day? What time do you start winding down for bed? So I'm going to show you my ideal Tuesday. This is it from the template. So this is what I've written for my ideal Tuesday. I wake up naturally without an alarm. Obviously, I don't have a real job. I'm an entrepreneur and I can do what I want. So obviously, this is what my thing looks like. But we also have Kaylin's example of a normal day, and Kaylin works with me, so she does have a full-time job. So you can see 2 different examples. One who is a waste man that doesn't do anything at all and just sort of screws around, and Kaylin, who is very, very productive and a very good team member. So, you can see what this looks like. 7:30, 8 a.m., natural wake up and run, 4 hours of deep work focus, take a lunch at 1 p.m.-ish, 2 to 3 p.m. gym with personal trainer, another 3 hours of focus stuff, dinner, family, fun, friends, nighttime routine, lights out, reading on Kindle until I fall asleep, etc. Now we are going to spend 3 minutes designing your ideal Tuesday. So you've seen an example of what this looks like for me and for Kaylin, and you're now going to do this exercise for yourself. So we're going to set a timer for 3 minutes. I am going to put on some vibey music. Okay, so that has been 3 minutes, as is the case with all of these exercises. You may not have had time to fully do this properly in this session. That's okay. Think of this as just a first draft, and then part of the homework is to complete these different V1s that we are creating in the sessions. The thing with this exercise is that every day is actually going to be different, but our goal is to try and imagine, sort of weave that into the thing. So for example, in my one, I've got a 4-hour focus block in the morning, and then a 3-hour focus block in the afternoon after lunch. And those days look very different as to what specifically I'm doing in them. And then I have a 3-hour block in the evening, which some days it's like going out for dinner with friends, some days it's date night, some days it's nothing at all, some days it's like reading, some days it's a BJJ lesson, like whatever the thing might be. But the point is, we're just trying to construct, what does our ideal productive day look like? Like what are the sorts of boxes and blocks of time that we would like to be spent? Like what time would you like to be getting up? What time would you like to be going to sleep? Assuming you had control over those things. What time would you like to be getting into work? What time would you like to be leaving, etc., etc. We're not talking about trying to adhere to this 100%. We're not even talking about 80%. We're talking like most people don't even know what their ideal day would look like. Defining the ideal day is step one, and then recognizing, okay, what are the things that are actually within your control to be able to move towards that ideal day. In a world where you're an employee rather than an entrepreneur, yeah, you can't control specifically what you're doing at work. But similarly, when I was working as a doctor, my ideal day would look like, okay, wake up at 7, goes pretty much 20 minutes of morning routine in the morning, drive to work for an hour, listen to audiobooks on the way to work, and then like the workday would be blocked off, because as a doctor, like the workday, you can't really control what you're doing when you're a junior doctor like I was. You're sort of doing what you're told. But then, and so my ideal day doesn't need to try and over-optimize what I'm doing during my 8 or 10 or 13 hours of work. But what's important is that, okay, I'm like, after work, I want to do the gym. So that's where I have my 1 hour at the gym. After work on a Tuesday and a Thursday, I want to do 3 hours of video editing on my stuff, or whatever the thing might be. Like, working within the confines of your context is the point of an exercise like this. It's like, yeah, if you know what the goal is, then you can start slowly taking steps to work there without being attached to without being fixated on the fact that, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, therefore I can't just wake up whenever I want. Yeah, I get it. If you have kids, you can't just wake up whenever you want, because the kids are a human alarm clock, from what I hear, and I'm going to find this out in a few months myself anyway. The point is, we're just going for what is the goal, and we can slowly start taking steps towards it.